Today, we're going to talk about career coaching. What are certain aspects of career coaching that we can use in our practice? And there can be a little touch of expressive arts as well as other kind of skills which we use in order to help an individual to think. There are many ways, as I keep telling you about expressive arts, which I use in my day to day work. When I was a full time counselor in a particular school, in an institution for quite a long time, like there were agendas given for equipping students to choose their careers, to be in a position where they can also have a hand in choosing their careers. Because I think years back, during my school days, it was like kind of parents generally choose their careers, and children do not have like much of an mostly, not everyone, most of them did not have a choice, and they did not have an awareness also. So whatever the parents said, maybe they just went with it, or they took some opinion from teachers. So that being the case, today, like, it is a nice thing that there are some schools which are providing career coaching for children from standard 9. But if you ask me, who can actually be going through this kind of undertaking this kind of career coaching for themselves? It's not only students. It's not that as early as possible, if we are able to take a conscious choice in careers, that's fine, but not everybody has that opportunity. So somewhere we are put into some career and we are not satisfied in case of with what we are doing, then it's okay for us to change careers, looking into the feasibility. What are the pros and cons? How feasible it is? And here we have a very important role in helping an individual to choose their career as mental health professionals. So, who needs career counseling? Who can take up career counseling? An individual will need career counseling or career coaching at any point in life when the individual needs to take a decision. Here, why we are mentioning the term coaching is because it could be for a period of time where I can be coaching my client on the decision making process, as well as the pros and cons, and also addressing the challenges which are um, hindrances to my client, which my client can see as a hindrance and is not able to sometimes trial and error, and then they fail, and then we try to like help them, and we help them to equip with other skills as well, other life skills as well, which are very significant for them to make the right kind of choices and work it out. Sometimes there might be possible, a need might arise where we need to work with significant people in their lives as well, who might be involved in the process of their careers. Because many a times in our country, whether it is undergraduation or post graduation, until a certain period of time, money is spent by someone else, either the parents, or if they are getting married quite young, or if they started their careers at a later age, it is maybe the husband or wife or someone who is sponsoring them for their careers. So that way, the opinion of the other person is also very important. And when an individual traveling in a path experiences dissatisfaction and it's not happy at the end of the day, whatever said and done, personal life and professional life can be interconnected, and I think it is interconnected most of the time. So generally, when we are very content in our profession, in our work, we are busy, we are satisfied in helping people, or like whatever appreciation we received today, whatever acknowledgement we got like from in our work, or whatever we were praised for, whatever incentive we got, whatever we are earning, everything. Finance is also very important for us to feel really good about our careers. Whatever we are earning is also important. We cannot deny the fact. And there's nothing wrong in saying that. I think certain people who can still stick on to some old kind of conversations which we heard from people few generations back. They could be our own family members, that we should not be greedy, money is not important. We cannot accept those statements because we are not trying to say that money is everything. But of course, money gives us recognition, money gives us importance. If I'm someone who is going out for work, and whole day I work and I'm bringing say 15,000 home, compared to me going for some other work and earning 50,000 a month, can definitely make a difference of the kind of respect I get in my own family. We cannot deny that fact. It is common for a man, it's common for a woman as well. So that is somewhere giving us recognition, and it's also a self-esteem need of that individual. And that kind of satisfaction in career, if we are not having, maybe if I'm feeling, if that individual is feeling very stressed at work and is not able to like focus, and it is like very strenuous for that person to every day deal with things, then obviously that reflects in their personal life. They can show dissatisfaction as coping mechanism, like displacement. The anger the woman could not show on her superior, maybe she's showing that on her children. So that could be a way. And the quality time which that I'm just giving an example, a woman can spend with her spouse, kids, family time, no, even physically they can be present there. Maybe they go for a movie, physically the woman is present there with her family, but her mind is pondering over what next, what's going to come up next. All right. So until someone is putting a full stop to their professional life, they decide that after this point, I'm not continuing with it. It keeps on going. So, I mean, the process of shifting careers or learning new things, updating ourselves, appropriate, necessary skills, this is a ongoing process. Career requirements. So, if we look into what are the most important components, three important components which are required for success in any career. Even if as mental health professionals, you can be a social worker, you can be a psychologist, you can be a um, whatever, no, an occupational therapist, a speech therapist, you are someone who's offering personal in-person coaching and all that, no, diet coaching, whatever. So what are certain important things for each of us is that aptitude, knowledge, knowledge about that particular subject, knowledge in that subject, Knowledge, there's no full stop for knowledge in whatever field we are. There's a requirement for us to keep ourselves updating in it. So, if someone is like really good at something, it's better to go for it if they're really interested, rather than like looking into what the market is and what are the possibilities of earning more money. No, such things. When it comes in the belief system, here I think we need to like question the belief system that the society or family is putting on that particular individual. I can explain that with a case example to you. Next is, many of us who are here can be passionate about what we are doing, and that's why we are in this profession. And obviously, the personality. So there are some characteristics and perspectives which people in people service, offering any kind of people service, can have certain kinds of criterias or common characteristics and perspectives which are very important for them to fit into that career. Not all careers are suitable for everybody. Not everybody is skillful in everything. Our skill sets are very different. So that skill sets are can be divided into I mean, what I'm trying to say here is, how did we gain that skill set? Two things. One thing is, genetically we are skillful at certain things by birth, inborn naturally. And secondly, when we got that exposure to learn certain things, our environment taught us certain skills or talents or a particular subject, so I'm more inclined towards it. So that also is what we are today. Personalities differ. Each one of us have a unique skill set. So based on that, if we are able to make career choices, that would be the best thing to do. And we do have certain psychometric assessments, which are nothing but paper pencil tests, based on which we can get some choices, option 1, option 2, option 3, which based on which people can make their choices on what they really want to do. So I would like to explain this with a case example. Let us take Dia's case. This is a real case seen a few years back. Dia was not given a choice as a like student to choose her. Dia being someone, Dia being someone as who I mean who scored 200 in mathematics. 200 now, why I mentioned 200 is, those days we used to have the matriculation system where we used to write for 200 marks, paper 1, paper 2, maths 1, maths 2. So this was the scenario in 10th as well as 11th. Similarly, we used to have language 1, language 2, English 1, English 2, Tamil 1, Tamil 2, Hindi 1, Hindi 2. Even I was the I received that kind of an education. I studied in a matriculation school. I think now we don't have that matriculation system. So, someone who scored that mathematics is definitely a skillful person in that particular area, and if that person was given a chance to explore in that profession, if that person was given an opportunity to get exposed to that field or anything related to mathematics, maybe physics, chemistry also the person was very good at, but the person was not very good at biology as much as the other subjects. um, so it was purely the mother's decision, and more the family looked at it as a status symbol. So being a doctor is a big privilege. Maybe like certain parents still believe that when I was young, I wanted to become a lawyer or I wanted to become an engineer. I was not able to do that. So you need you need to do that in order to make your parents proud because we invested so much on your education, whatever. No, somewhere they keep putting these thoughts on children from a very young age. I had a neighbor couple who were doing all the best that they could do for their children, who were not educated, but they were working very hard for their children. But generally, I feel that this is the kind of approach they made towards their children. That whenever they hail from a rural, so they feel that whenever we get back to our relatives, whenever we get back to our native place, you must make us proud, you must make your parents proud, and that is why we both are working so hard, is a statement that they keep telling those children. Somewhere it puts a pressure on the child. And here, so this was considered as a status symbol, and whether she was not asked whether she really wants to do it or not. But then she's put into that, and soon after her MBBS, her family, most in her family, most of them are government staff, some people who are in the government. So the father made it a point to make her write some government exams. So finally, she ends up getting into government medical service. And then when you become by that age, they're like in their crossed a little bit of the line of marriage age which the society has set. So by then there's also pressure to get married. But when this comes, like when it is a doctor, there's again a pressure here to marry another doctor because I'm a doctor. So that is the mindset of many people. So if I'm so and so, I should marry someone who's little much superior than me. If I've done MBBS, maybe I look for someone who's done post graduation in medicine. I don't want to marry another man who's into MBBS, or I don't want to marry an engineer because already it is a decided fact according to that particular family in this example that all other professions are below medicine. So they're not going for it, and it takes a long process to find someone who's done super specialty and then marry, because the other people also, they also are looking for something as like how you are looking, how Dia's parents are looking or Dia is looking. Similarly, guys also who have completed masters, maybe they're looking for someone with masters. And maybe someone who feels that I need a spouse with job security will consider this option of marrying someone who's into government service. Now, the point here is that when this person comes to counseling is when she's been like continuously writing entrance exams for post graduation and she's not able to crack it. Already there is some dissatisfaction because of which her performance was not that great after she joined MBBS. And there's a break 2 or 3 years where she's only sitting at home, because again here there's a stigma that when you like, I mean stigma uh, in their circle, where they're considering as clinical professions as superior and non-clinical as not so good professions. For example, if someone is a gynecologist, someone is a nephrologist, some they're into people service, a cardiologist, a orthopedician, a surgeon, they're into clinical practice, they meet patients on a day-to-day basis. There are some non-clinical side of medicine also, who are working under the microscope, behind the screens, like someone who studied biomedical instrumentation or microbiology or pathology. They're doing analysis, they give reports, they're also doctors who are not meeting people, but they're doing that. So this is the place where she gets a lot of mental stress and approaches a counselor. So then what happens is, what kind of help can be given in this particular situation to Dia? So the help, so she must be in her late 20s when she was in this process. 26 plus. Exactly, I do not remember the age. 26 plus. Help of career coach. So, what kind of help can be given in this scenario is the career assessments for aptitude, interest, and the personality of the individual. Next, enable Dia to know her strengths and blind spots. So, it's very important for us to know where our strengths lie and where our blind spots are. And for me, when I used to like work on examining strengths, exploring how people feel with expressive arts, we use the 6PSM, that is what we call as 6P story making, where we help the individual to really think, visualize, and then put it in pictorial forms of what their real strengths are. And we don't generally encourage using the term weakness, whereas we say blind spots. And finally, explore the options. What are the options available? It's important to know what are the courses available, what are the scholarships available, which institution is providing you the right kind of education that you need in the form that you need, which is also feasible for you, and the fees and other things. So here, finally, when we look at Dia's case, her strengths are she's like someone who's good at mathematics, physics, chemistry. We know that, but the question of mathematics is ruled out now because we are not. It's a decision that Dia is taking. We are not like trying to make her again build a career from the scratch. We cannot make her an engineer all of a sudden after 5 years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of investment into this field. Investment is not only money in terms of time, energy, parents, their efforts, all that. So finally, the assessment shows that the personality of that individual is that person is an introvert who doesn't like to work with people, or the person is not interested in people service profession, like meeting people. What I mean here is meeting people, communicating with people, and I think that rapport with the our doctor, even when we generally go outside to meet a doctor, the rapport which we build with the doctor is actually the real medicine. They, of course, they treat us with whatever the kind of therapies, the medicines they give us, but still, only when the trust is laid, then we feel very comfortable to approach that particular specialist. So, when somebody is not good at it, it's okay. It's okay for you to choose a non clinical course. And then looking at the other aspects of the interest of that individual and taking into the aptitude. Yes, if aptitude is less, it's possible for us to increase it. When any two is present, when interest and personality to be a professional working behind the microscope, but you have to like more work on the knowledge, not gaining knowledge in it. Knowledge can be always improved, aptitude can always be developed by working on it. So that way, like finally, that with the help of coaching, we're also like trying to discussion with the parents and help the individual to somehow meet up to the requirements. And finally, the person, we're helping that individual by providing all this coaching, because all this cannot happen in just one session. Just trying them to explore various things, because as I mentioned, there's also mental stress. When there's a lot of emotional clouding, the person will not be able to be more cerebral, I mean, to think in a more cognitive way. To use their thoughts to think will be very difficult. because if you're like really depressed, three attempts and then the person fails to crack clinical is a very big stressor for a student. So that way, this is just an example of what help that we will be able to provide to this individuals who come to us for help. And future projection is an activity which maybe even like you can try when you're free, just to check whether how it works for us. When we used to take up these kind of programs, usually it would be like we apply it on ourselves, and that is really helpful because we don't forget it. It's 10 years since I just passed out from my psychotherapy course from WCC, but still I haven't forgotten those techniques because it was more practical, and the field work we do and self application is the most important right here. So just to we can encourage people to just think. Even you can do it when you're free. Just try this out, and later you can give me feedback in the group or even privately. 5 years from now, where am I? Who are my colleagues? So, what kind of people generally we want to be with? Do I want to live in India? Do I want to go abroad? Do I want to work in the rural? Everybody has their own likes, and what kind of people I want to have around, and what is my job environment. Some of them maybe want to like explore outside, they want to pick traveling jobs. Some people want to settle down just in one place. Some are okay working in a government organization, but some of them who feel that there's no space or enough space for creativity and it's very suffocating may not like it. They may prefer private companies which are more encouraging. And what's my salary? Yes, of course. As I told you, money is important. Money is definitely important. And what my daily schedule is. So, what some people can work with conventional pattern. 8 o'clock, you need to go for work, and then your work gets over by 5 p.m. You return home by 5:30, 6 p.m. This time you take a lunch break. This time you take a short break. This time you go to bed. So that's like a systematic thing for people, but some people do not fit into this kind of conventional pattern. For example, like for me it is not very comfortable every to have a very conventional patterns. My everyday schedules are very different. I work even on a Sunday, but I do take a lot of breaks, which is very important, I feel, to refresh ourselves, to regenerate ourselves, and to get back, because all that we are hearing most of the time is a lot of stuff which people are talking about negative emotions, and that's the purpose why we are here still. But still, when we have to give them positivity, we should do some inner cleansing, which is useful to us as well as to our clients. For us to give the best service, this is important. So I would suggest that at some point of time you can try this future projection on yourself first before you administer this to others. Last but not least, I would definitely say gratitude. Gratitude gives a sense of um, healing within our own selves, is my own takeaway from a life coaching program that I did few months back. And I'm someone who always sticks on to something, I mean, stick on to scientific aspects. Scientific aspects. Something which it doesn't have a scientific basis, I do not believe in it. And only on experimenting it, I generally trust certain things. So to me, though it was not very convincing fact, like people say law of attraction and all that. I'm not talking about it, but I'm only trying to say that a silent prayer to nature for all the gifts that we have is very important, I feel. And we can use a pebble technique for that. I had collected, yeah. So just a small pebble, and as a ritual, just as a ritual, everyday ritual, for us as a practice. Until we master it, I think we will need a prop. This is just a prop that we are using. I collected this pebble, a few pebbles from a river close by. So it's like quite cool compared to my body temperature. So I just hold it and I just give some gratitude about all that from morning that worked well for me. And I really want to thank the important people who supported me today, from my household to talking to me and conversing with me, people who met me for whatever purpose. And I even would like to give gratitude to my devices which help me, my phone, my laptop, which has helped me even now to connect with you. So this is something like, as long as we are grateful and nice and we are giving that to nature, I feel that that is what we gently reciprocate. And I've also experienced it. Transition of emotions from negative to positive. Whenever we feel negative emotions, we are all human. We are all very human beings, and thereby we and even animals experience emotions. So because we are so called people having the sixth sense, we have the capacity to think in a way that we can handle our own emotions. That is what we call as emotional intelligence and emotional regulation. So whenever I'm experiencing anger, maybe I have the power to convert that anger, which I feel is a negative emotion, to a positive one, like anything. Feeling peaceful, calm, happy, excitement, joy. For example, my favorite song can do that magic. If I'm feeling very irritated, I shut everything and I try to be mindful at that moment. I just listen to my favorite song. I get back. I vent it all out by dancing, whatever. I shut the door and do whatever I want. I convert that negative emotion into a positive one, which is actually helpful to me. I'm not doing it for someone else. I'm not doing it for forgiving someone else by not being angry towards them, but I'm doing it only for my own well being, my mental health, my own development, my own growth, my own calmness, my own peace of mind. So, if I can do that to myself, I will be in a place where I'm able to make that change to many people in my life. So that's one thing, and I want you to try and see if you. We also have our emotional regulation support group. If you're a part of it, you can try this, because I've been talking about this lately about it, and what are certain methods that I've been using. Even a conversation with your favorite person can do that magic. A coffee with your best friend can do that magic. The more emotional declutter we do, the more space we provide for new things we aspire in life. So, if declutter is removing whatever is not necessary, I keep things which is necessary. I remove things which are not necessary. Decluttering can be in many forms: physical declutter, spiritual declutter, or it depends from person to person on what they really want to declutter. It can be a kind of no cognitive declutter, thought wise, what I want to do in terms of relationship, because it's a holistic approach. Life coaching is like we're holistically touching upon different aspects of life, the personal um, experience of that individual, and them in terms of relationship, their careers, health. No, that way it's very useful for us to use this decluttering technique, which I taught you in session one. Just one small thing which we generally do in psychodrama is what I taught you. So this gratitude with this pebble is also a form of psychodrama which we're doing, where we are just letting things to nature, and we are inviting many nice things to us by making emotional conversions. By making emotional conversions, transitions, we're inviting a lot of positive things, and I think that is what people are terming as law of attraction. When we are in a frequency and wavelength, it's again science, no? When we are in a frequency and wavelength, we attract the same. Even animals can sense emotion, whether you're angry or whether you're sad. Our own pets can sense it. So that way I feel people around will be sensing what state of emotional state we are in. When we can be in a better state, people around us are also happy. We are transferring that to people around us as well, and we are creating that space for ourselves to aspire more things in life, because I'm removing the negativity and I'm moving more inclined towards positivity. So as the formula says, like attracts like. So people with similar wavelength, the old people who carry negativity will automatically not stay with us. Like the saying, birds of the same feather flock together. So people with similar ideologies or similar thoughts or emotional states connect with us. They stick to us. The others will just some will declutter on its own. It will go away. Some people, some things, or some places, or whatever it is, will go away, which doesn't match with our current frequency. So every day, one or the other magic keeps happening, and our thoughts are so powerful. All this is not some magic, but it's our own thoughts which make certain things possible, and we are capable of it. We're that capable of it. If you also feel that there is some truth in what I'm conveying and communicating to you, please put a thumbs up. Our thoughts are so strong that we are capable of attracting what we want. I can relate myself to many things that I aspired long back, years back, which has just happened because it was there in my mind where I did not recognize. Did you have some similar experiences? It sometimes can be even negative things that we attracted or we thought of that happened. None of you had such experiences? All right, we've seen a lot of components today. I would like to hear from each of you about your experiences, your thoughts, what you feel about it, and something that this particular aspect was a new takeaway for me. Something like which I would like to practice from now onward. Anything like that, you can feel free to share. You can talk. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Bona, ma'am.
Yeah, as always, I love your sessions. Thank you so much. Um, you had asked a question before, right? Like whether this has happened before. So you can pretty much you know you just think about it and it just happens. You think about something or you think about someone and that person calls you, telepathic, or you send out energy or you send out the emotions. These things happen and then you become very aware of these things as you probably as you grow older. This is more apparent, or as you not only older, I think you become conscious, you become a little bit more sensitive to these things, then it happens. So many things manifest. So that's why I think in olden days they used to say, always think of good things, speak positive, always, whatever, speak good, think good, do good. so that you attract the same. So that I wanted to share. The other thing is, yeah, we've always talked about the anchors and how to let go or be grateful about things. I love the pebble thing because I personally haven't tried the pebble. So from now on, I think I will also carry a pebble because that is very cool in nature. So I think I can relate to it more, kind of hold it and then go, probably be silent for a few seconds, and that will take us into the gratitude mode.
It
So
gives
thank you so
a
much.
good feel when you gently touch the pebble. It's like quite cold and chill. So it
Correct.
like our body temperature would definitely not be the same most of the time. So then
Right.
that somewhere
The
the
sense.
heat is transformed also into that also gives a very
Correct.
lighter feel when we generally do it. That's my experience.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
All
So
right.
thank you so much for sharing
Thank you,
that.
ma'am. I would like to hear from someone else about your takeaway. So something that you want to share. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So after a long time, I'm attending your session today. Yes, ma'am. The session was very important and much needed for many children now because many of them are confused and still they have the pressure from parents for this. As you said, the doctor's incident, even I have come across a similar incident. That family didn't allow their son to study BDS also because they find that that is not a real doctor that no
Yes, yes.
அந்த கெட்டு இல்ல
So they'll
அப்படிங்கிற
say
மாதிரி ஃபீல் பண்ணாங்க
பல் டாக்டர்னு கூப்பிடுவாங்கன்னு
பல்
சொல்லி.
டாக்டர்லாம் டாக்டரா டாக்டர்னா எம்பிபிஎஸ் அது மட்டும்தான் அவங்களுக்கு வந்து அந்த டாக்டர் அப்படிங்கிற ஃபீல் கொடுக்குது அப்படின்ற மாதிரி ஃபீல் பண்ணாங்க the same way that boy also attempted for 2 3 times and then even though he didn't clear so again they went for management quota that was also he crossed the pressure so again there is a so many students are still facing this issue ma'am nice ma'am thank you
All right. Anyone else wants to speak? All right. So it was great pleasure for me to share whatever I learned to you, and I'm happy for whatever was conveyed to you today and the way you reciprocated it. So let us meet up in another session. Tomorrow we'll be having our emotional abuse sessions as usual. Like we finished seven. We have three more. So let us meet up tomorrow for another topic. Thank you so much. Thank you for your participation.
thank you ma'am